Well, along the lines of hilarious, I saw the stat of the week regarding my Detroit Lions before the game. They had a 1 in 2 trillion chance to make the playoffs before
Wow. So what you're
Sunday.
saying is we've got a chance.
That was the meme all over social media. So you're saying there's a chance. Somehow, like NFL on Fox went through the math to some poor intern had to do the math to figure out how the Lions were still alive at this point and what their chances were to actually still make the playoffs. And somehow it came out to 1.1 in 2 trillion, which is, I don't even know what that's equivalent of. That'd be like getting struck by lightning 40 times in a day or something like that. But unfortunately, whatever scenario that had to play out for the Lions already played out before they played their game in Denver at 4:00 local time here in Michigan. So they had already lost that 1 in 2 trillion chance, making it 65 years and counting officially now that the Lions will not win an NFL championship. I've been keeping that stat since I've started my same old Lions Twitter account, SO Lions on Twitter. It was 57 years and counting when I started the Twitter account. Now we're up to 65 years and counting, and I will keep that going. That actually, I've thought about that Twitter account and the corresponding podcast that's specifically about the Lions. Break up our segments here on the Limp Ditka's podcast into team-specific shortcasts or microcasts in case you want to just focus in on one team instead of listening to us blather on about all our teams. But I think the SOL Sadcast is what I call the Lions podcast. That and that Twitter account will officially self-destruct. Not when the Lions win. I'm not even going to set the bar when the Lions win the Super Bowl. I mean, that's just not going to happen ever. But I'm going to set the bar at when the Lions win a playoff game. I will kill the same old Lions Twitter account and the podcast, or I'll change the names of them to something else. But that's how low the bar is. Just win a goddamn playoff game. But as they have been eliminated from the playoffs as of Sunday, that will not happen this year. So yeah, you get another year of at least the same old Lions Twitter account and this SOL Sadcast. But as for the game on Sunday,
it was a nail biter.
Well, Lions are coming off a 1-game winning streak for the first time in a year, which was nice. But the big news during the week was the Lions were not only battling a flu outbreak, as we've heard across many teams that we talk about, even on the college side in the last couple of weeks, but they had a COVID outbreak, and that started on Friday. I think they had 2 positive COVID tests, and that ended up being 7 or 8 by game day. That's happening everywhere. That's going to be the big story of this weekend, I think, for the NFL. That might as well wait to see how things play out. But there are a lot of positive COVID tests all over the place. So the Lions were fighting flu, COVID, injuries throughout the roster. So it ended up being they were missing about 20% of their roster by game time. So didn't have a whole lot of faith in their abilities. Didn't have much faith before that anyway, but to win in Denver. But game didn't start out great. They had -1 yards total offense in the first quarter, which is, I think, the 3rd time they've done that this year. But they actually had a 17. They were only down 17-10 by halftime, which was pretty impressive. Unfortunately, they received the opening kickoff in the second half and fumbled on their first play from scrimmage. And Denver scored, I think, 3 plays later. And then the Lions subsequently got the ball and went back to the habitual going for it on 4th down by Dan Campbell. At which point Jared Goff had I think it was his 3rd of eventually 4 batted balls down. Unfortunately, this wasn't even batted down. It was helmeted down. He threw it into the defensive lineman's helmet, which is one of the weirdest highlight clips. I think I've posted that on social media. It's just hard to do. I don't know. It looks hilarious, but it was actually 50%. They did go for it later on fourth down and actually converted. So I think Dan Campbell is sort of treating this season as almost like a science experiment and just doing anything he can. Why not? The season doesn't matter. Obviously, they were, even though they were mathematically eliminated Sunday from the playoffs, they've been eliminated for months. So why not? Go for it on fourth. The only issue with that is that might be throwing off the analytics that the statisticians are using to say that going for it on fourth is a good idea because it's converted 60% of the time or whatever. But the Lions are definitely hurting that percentage. So I don't know if you can create an equation or an algorithm that corrects for the Lions' performance this year on fourth down, but hopefully those mathematicians figure that part out. But so yeah, comedy of errors in the Lions, of course. Back to some injury issues. The Jerry Jacobs, who's undrafted rookie cornerback for the Lions, who's actually showing some signs of being a diamond in the rough. They just happen to find probably their best defensive back that is looking like a legit player going forward. Blew out his ACL in the first quarter, adding to their injury woes. So it's like anything that's a little bit positive for the Lions just ends up going to shit. So that was another downer. On the positive side, though, Penei Sewell had another big day at right tackle, which I was talked about basically all season long, coming from the preseason forward. He was moved to right tackle from his traditional left tackle due to the Taylor Decker situation, and then he was moved back to left tackle after Taylor Decker had a hand injury for the first month and a half. And now he's back to right tackle, which I just didn't agree with moving him around so much, and just seemed like he wasn't performing all that well at right tackle away from his natural position. Understandably so, as he's trying to do everything with his opposite hand, opposite foot. Everything's just completely opposite. So, well, he's overcome that adversity as he is now officially this Sunday, Pro Football Focus ranked him the #1 offensive tackle in the NFL. I'm not sure what they base that on, but it's just, performance of all tackles. He was the best, and they do this every week. And Sewell became the best, and that comes. I mentioned the preseason. They also ranked him the worst offensive tackle of the preseason as he was trying to learn right tackle. So, to come that far in this time, that's an apples to apples comparison. They were giving him shit when he was shitty, and now they're giving him the accolades now, which is it's a cool thing to see. He had a shoulder injury briefly during that game, even so he overcame that. He didn't even miss a play, but he was down on the sideline for a while, which is always nerve wracking. But he's a tough motherfucker. So I like it. I was a proponent of the Sewell draft pick back in April. That is panning out. He looks like the potential generational talent that we're hoping. As the Lions build from the inside out, which is a strategy I think we've seen work, especially with your Cowboys over the years, building the lines. We've got a long ways to go though, but at least there's a bright spot right there with Penei Sewell. So I dig it. Oh, next up, for the Lions is, of course, the aforementioned Arizona Cardinals, which is death march to Sunday, essentially. They're going to be an angry team after losing at home to the Rams last night on Monday Night Football. The only thing I can think of, though, that would give the Lions, who I believe right now are a 13.5-point underdog at home, is the most SOL thing they could do this weekend would be to somehow beat Arizona, which would move the Lions out of the #1 draft slot in next year's draft, as they would fall a half game behind, I believe both Houston and Jacksonville. They'd still have to play each other, but so they'll be behind one of them if they somehow won this against Arizona. But the other part of that is they would increase the chances of the Rams winning their division again in that NFC West, and make their path to the Super Bowl just that little bit easier. So that would be the most SOL thing that the Lions could possibly do, is somehow win that game and fuck themselves in 2 ways. So that's the only cosmic weird scenario I could see the Lions pulling off this game on Sunday. But
They're going to do it for Stafford.
yeah, stranger things have happened.
Do it for Matt.
So yeah, that's my Lions bit for the week.
Wait, is that game? I didn't. Is that game in Detroit or
in Detroit?
Arizona?
Yeah.
Ooh, advantage Lions.
13.5 points. Are you going to get in on that this week? I know you love betting on the Lions.
Fuck the Lions in regards to betting.
They're now 8-5 against the spread after this weekend, I believe. So
painful. Word Hole Media.